The talent with Caleb Williams is obvious, but was he really worth the first overall selection in the 2024 NFL Draft? We're here to take a look at some of the times those skills were on full display for the world to see. Before we hop in, like this video and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more like this. Caleb Williams was born and raised in Washington, D.C., where he began his journey with the game he loves at Gonzaga College High School. When he was a sophomore in 2018, Caleb led the Eagles to a WCAC championship while earning Washington Post All-Metro First Team and the Washington, D.C. Area Gatorade Player of the Year. He again was named Washington Post All-Metro First Team as a junior and was crowned Elite 11 Finals MVP the following summer in 2020, but unfortunately his senior season of football was canceled due to COVID. Good thing for Caleb, he already put enough on tape to be one of the best recruits in the country and committed to play football in Norman for the Oklahoma Sooners. Williams began his college football career in 2021 for Oklahoma and was the backup for another highly recruited player, Spencer Rattler. However, in the middle of the heated rivalry game between the Sooners and the Texas Longhorns, Caleb got his shot. It was 35-17 with Texas having their way when he stepped in to relieve Rattler. Caleb put on a show, leading the Sooners to a 55-48 come-from-behind victory. He threw for 212 yards with 2 TD passes while adding 88 yards and another tutty on the ground. He was just getting started. He followed up that performance with an even better one the next week as the starter against TCU. Williams lit up the Horned Frogs for 295 yards passing with 4 touchdowns through the air. He ran for 66 yards and another touchdown as Oklahoma triumphed 52-31. Could he get any better? Caleb said, "Hold my beer and watch this." He would really have his coming out party against Texas Tech. Caleb absolutely torched the Red Raiders for 6 passing touchdowns with 402 yards and 0 picks. Caleb hit Marvin Mims late in the first for a 67-yard score, his second on the day already, and then tossed Mims a second touchdown for 43 yards later in the third when he really was cooking for his 5th on the day. He tossed one more before Rattler did clean up duty and then called it a day. Caleb proved he belonged at this level. He wanted to be the no-questions-asked starter, so Williams decided to enter the transfer portal on January 3, 2022. He decided to transfer to USC on February 1st, where he would be joining a familiar face in head coach Lincoln Riley, who was previously the head coach of the Sooners, before being lured away by USC in November of the previous year. The sophomore captain who transferred from Oklahoma in February led the Trojans against Stanford on a Saturday night on September 10, 2022, in the Pac-12 opener. The new kid on the block showed everyone why he earned that C on his chest with 341 yards on 20 of 27, passing with 4 touchdowns, and led the Trojans past Stanford 41-21 in Palo Alto. Williams threw 2 of those scores to Jordan Addison, one for 22 yards, and then he heaved a 75-yard bomb to the talented receiver to end the first quarter. Stanford just couldn't keep up with the red-hot Trojan offense, and unfortunately for the rest of college football, this wasn't the last case of a blowout at the hands of Caleb Williams. A few weeks later, Caleb and the Trojans took on the Arizona Wildcats on October 29, 2022. Williams threw the ball for a whopping 411 yards with 5 touchdowns, going 31 for 45 with almost a 70% completion rate. Tahj Washington had himself a day with 118 yards receiving and 2 scores to help get the Trojans the victory. After a crazy game against UCLA, where he threw for another 470 yards to secure the victory against the crosstown rival, this one would be a doozy for the young Trojans signal caller. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl against Tulane would prove to be one of USC's toughest matchups, despite the Green Wave being the underdog in the game. The Trojans and Williams would strike first, but Michael Pratt, Tyjae Spears, and the rest of Tulane showed they would not go down without a fight after a Spears score and an 87-yard bomb from Pratt to Jaquan Jackson in the second quarter. Heading into the fourth quarter, USC had a 5-point lead, but added a TD and field goal to extend that lead to 15. With 4 minutes left, Tulane did the unthinkable, going on a 16-0 run with 2 touchdowns and a costly safety by USC to put the Green Wave over the top. The Heisman Trophy winning Williams contributed in the game, passing for 462 yards and 5 touchdowns, but it just wasn't enough to get the job done. Caleb moved on from the loss by opening up his next season at USC August 26, 2023 against San Jose State. Slanging 4 touchdown passes with 278 yards through the air, he showed he had moved on and was ready to once again try to make his way to a title game. The Trojans' 56-28 victory showed the college football world they were ready to fight for that top spot once again with their Heisman-winning quarterback at the helm. USC Trojans versus Nevada Wolfpack got to play on September 2nd, 2023. USC won by a measly score of 66, while Nevada could only muster up 14 points. Caleb Williams passed for 319 yards and 5 touchdown passes on 18 completions. Brendan Lewis passed for 182 yards for the Wolfpack, who scored on their opening drive before giving up 45 consecutive points. USC's 668 yards were its most under head coach Lincoln Riley, and its 66 points matched the highest scoring game of his tenure. USC's defense held Nevada to just 213 total yards. Caleb would once again work his magic against Stanford on September 9, 2023. The Trojans racked up 433 yards of offense and got 7 touchdowns by 7 players while building a 49-3 halftime lead, the 3rd largest in Pac-12 history, in the conference's final opening game. Williams passed for 281 yards with 3 touchdowns and ran for another score while playing only the first half. He finished with an astoundingly efficient 90.5 completion rate as number 6 USC routed Stanford 56-10 that Saturday night. Caleb Williams' game against Colorado in September 30th, 2023 was a notable one. The game took place on September 30th, 2023 at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado, with the USC Trojans going toe-to-toe with the Sanders family-led Colorado Buffaloes. Caleb threw for 403 yards and tied a career high with 6 touchdown passes. He completed 30 out of 40 passes and threw his first interception of the season in the second half. Despite being down 21-0, Colorado continued to fight, with QB Shedeur Sanders passing for 371 yards and 4 TDs, and freshman wide receiver Omarion Miller making 7 catches for 196 yards and a TD. USC would pull the victory out 48-41, but not before a little scare from the Sanders clan. On October 29, 2023, in the 9th week of the 2023 season, the Caleb-led Trojans faced off against the California Golden Bears of Berkeley. The talented Mr. Williams barely escaped a bear attack 50-49, but with the help of running back Marshawn Lloyd in his 2 touchdowns, they were both able to push the Trojans out of bear territory and into the winner circle. Caleb added 2 passing touchdowns with 369 yards through the air, and then ran for another 2 scores on the ground to rally the Trojans out of deep waters. While playing against Washington on the 4th of November 2023, quarterback Caleb Williams threw 3 touchdown passes for 312 yards for the Trojans, but the Huskies and their stud quarterback Michael Penix Jr., along with 4 touchdowns from running back Dylan Johnson, was just too hot to handle for Williams and USC. USC was defeated soundly, 52-42, and this would prove to be the start of a 3-game skid for Caleb and the Trojans that would knock them out of playoff contention. As for his feeling after the game, the Heisman Trophy winner said, "I want to go home and cuddle with my dog and watch some shows." Like, we lost the game, Williams added. "I work hard throughout months, years to have big games like this. Try and go win and play your best, each and every one of us. We came out with a loss today, so emotionally I want to go home and I want to play with my dog." That game would be the beginning of the end of Caleb's college career. But it wasn't all doom and gloom for the young man from Washington, D.C., as he set his sights on bigger and better things, like playing at the next level. Scouts and analysts predict a very bright future as Caleb entered the NFL draft. Will he become a legend like his idols, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes? He showed that with hard work and dedication, success can be achieved and anything becomes possible. Though his legacy is still being written, one thing is certain: Williams is a force to be reckoned with. The NFL's worst-kept secret became reality on Thursday, April 25th, as the Chicago Bears selected Caleb Williams with the first pick of the 2024 NFL Draft. Former USC quarterback Williams had entered the week as the consensus #1 overall selection as one of the most accomplished college prospects in recent memory. Chicago underlined their intentions earlier this offseason when they traded away quarterback Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers in preparation for the arrival of Williams. The 22-year-old won a Heisman Trophy during a 3-year college career. By the end, he had completed 735 of 1,099 passes for 10,082 yards and 93 touchdowns to just 14 interceptions, alongside 289 carries for 960 rushing yards and 27 scores. I mean, the Bears were an 8-9 team last year, I believe. 7-10, sorry, Williams said in March. That is pretty good for a team that has the first pick. And they got a good defense. They got good players on offense. And it's pretty exciting if you can go into a situation like that. With his great talent that consists of a combination of mental football dexterity, competitive drive, and elite arm talent, Caleb Williams is ready for the next level to really test the young quarterback's gumption. As he begins his professional journey, football fans everywhere are eagerly keeping an eye out for the incredible things the Heisman winner could achieve on the field. With his rare combination of skills and dedication, the sky's the limit for Caleb Williams, and he is sure to leave a lasting legacy in the football world. Or is he? Stay tuned and look for the next video on one of Caleb's new teammates and all the magic him and Caleb could create together for Chicago. What is your favorite part of Caleb Williams' game? Do let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.